All right, looks like we're live. Hi, everyone. David's here, and happy Easter. Since we're living, I think all the students here in Europe, you're already celebrating the Easter, so happy Easter to all of you, to all of the design sprinters. All righty, so let me just share the screen with you. So we'll start with the usual way. Good. Good. Let me just briefly check if I'm still sharing the screen, because last time was a pity that I forgot to share the appropriate screen, but now I'll try not to do the same mistake again. So let's do it. All right. So welcome everyone. This is the webinar number 3, and this is a webinar for the day 3 of a design sprint of the Design Sprint Foundations non-degree program. I'm your mentor. I'm David. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to have this webinar for you. So let me just have a full screen so I can use it as a guide as well. So in the beginning, I would like to repeat the mentor support, or the support not only Udacity, but all the mentors are trying to give you. And all of these either weekly rituals or ad hoc rituals, everything is available for you. So let me just quickly and briefly recap what all these weekly and mentorship or mentor rituals are. So first of all, as we are having right now, this is a webinar, which is a YouTube live event, live session, where we are discussing the topics and mainly the project for the concrete week. Currently is week number 3. Then we have one-on-ones, where each student has the possibility to set up a Skype, or set up a call or a particular time slot with me to have a Calendly session. So go to the Calendly and share the time slot with me. It's always good to have it Slack approved. So when you arrange the one-on-one with me using Calendly, feel free to reach out with me on Slack as well, so we don't miss out our session that we have together. Then there's AMA, which is the abbreviation, or that's the acronym for Ask Me Anything. So this is a 1-week slot where I'm live, basically sitting in front of my computer as I'm right now, and I'm live. So I'm having this official office hours using Slack, where I answer all of the questions that you might have. And then I'm Slack support. I'm Slack available all the time. So if you have ad hoc questions and if you want to reach out real quick, use Slack and use the direct messages, either the direct messages that we have between each other or among each other as a mentor and student, or use the common and the channel we have as a group, a 966. So if you want to cooperate with your peers, if you want to exchange some ideas, feel free to use this platform as well and to use this space as well. Alrighty. So as far as all of us know, this is day number 3. And in our case, this is also not only day 3 of a design sprint, but this is week number 3 of a design sprint non-degree program, foundations non-degree program. We have only 1 week left in terms of the content, in terms of the projects, but it's not the official end of the program. So we are now covering day number 3. And as I mentioned in the previous videos, I'll try not to be a lecturer here, because the guys and all those professionals from the Agent Smart and from the Udacity, they are providing the content. They're trying to explain to as a detailed version, or they try to go as deep as required, and I think that they're doing a magnificent job. So my role is to help you guide you through this program, and to be really the first point of contact if you're experiencing any trouble, if you're experiencing some difficulties. Feel free to reach out to me using preferably those channels. So Slack, if you use Slack, I'm always there. So really quick recap. For the day number 3, we have 2 modules. So if you compare it to the previous weeks, we have slightly less content, but it doesn't mean that the week or day is easier. I would say it's the other way around. So we have less content, but it's the more room for you to to go deeper and to do the prototype work. So we've done research, we've done the storyboard, we've done some sketching in the previous days. We are trying now to answer those design sprint questions, and we are still keeping in mind the map that we are created, and based off all the knowledge that we have created in the past 2 days, and using storyboard as a guideline, we are building the prototype. So for those of you who are facilitators, uh, that will be probably for you. So module 5, if you're facilitating the day number 3 of design sprint, as far as you know, I'm just getting the inspiration and getting the content from Udacity and from the Agent Smart, Design Sprint, JKNAP, etc. So basically, module 5 starts with the huddle, where you as a team come up, you distribute the work, who's going to do what, who's going to be the artist, who's going to be the copywriter, who's going to do what, and then you just start working. So you work, and then you check up with the team. There's a check-in with team number 1, and then you have a lunch together. You're trying to recharge your batteries. You're trying to have a really meaningful break, so you can afterwards come back and do the work in a work session number 2. So you're having a work session, and at the end of the day, you have not at the end of the day, but in the middle of the day, you have a check-in number 2 with the team. And when you have this final check, then we go to the module number 6, which is basically, the whole day 3 is about creating prototype, but this module 6 is about creating the really one-piece prototype, because when you have a team, every team member works on a really specific and particular task. But considering and taking into account the module number 6, you're putting everything together. So you are using the role of a stitcher. This is the type from my sensor for that. So that should be stitching and stitcher. So there should be one person who's going to connect all the individual screens, and who's going to compile it and make it really uniform one prototype. And don't forget to use the storyboard as a guide. Always use the storyboard as a guide. So this is your map. As Jake Knapp puts it in a design sprint book, that was a mission Apollo mission. So all those astronauts who were still struggling with oh my God, how are you going to survive? They always look onto the map, and then they called each other, and everything was fine. That's exactly what the storyboard should be for you as well. Always look in the storyboard, remind yourself, okay, we're going to continue this way, so now we can focus fully on working on prototype. So it's about working, but if you're struggling, look back, look at the design sprint questions, look at the map, look at the storyboard, and everything should be clear for you. So that was tips for facilitators. But for those of you who are also doing this, like every one of us is doing this course as one person, considering this, it might be really tricky, because you're doing the work of a team. So even though it might be really tricky, it might be really hard, this is why we have the whole week for it. Try to get into the role while going through the specific parts. So if you're a stitcher, behave like stitcher. If you're a copywriter, behave like copywriter. So it's really good for facilitators to understand each particular role that the team members need to play. So yeah. Now when talking about the projects, so this is day number 3. So all of you already know what kind of projects are you going to work on. I'm just going to recap. I'm just going to repeat that you either work on your own project or you're using the proposed Udacity, the company called Frisetta. So you use either the own project or you're using this made up project or made up companies issue. Don't forget to download the resources from Udacity, and you can also download the projects from the Google Sheets, or you can directly download the copy of a PowerPoint or a keynote presentation. So yeah, it's always good to, if you're just beginning with the project, if you're beginning with the content, it's always good to have a look on the project, what the project is going to be about, and then you can fully concentrate on the content that the Agent Smart and Udacity are providing to you. As I explained, as I also told you, that the project template is a really good thing, because the project template, it serves as a checklist. It prevents you from forgetting. It gives you all the information that you need to pass the project, to think about the details, to think about the must-have, the must-complete tasks, and it's really good. So if you're using the project templates, there's high chance that you're gonna be successful. I'm just gonna point out one thing, that for the prototype purposes, you need to have at least 6 screens. 6 screens. How to do that? If you already watched the content of Agent Smart and Udacity, yeah, I'm just gonna do the quick check. Sorry for that. If we are still, yeah, it looks like, yeah. Sorry, just wanted to know if we're still. Hmm. To be honest, I don't like it. I don't like it, because it's really pity that I don't know that if you're seeing the thing that I want you to see. Yeah, now I hope. Sorry if you haven't seen it in the past. For how long have we been? For the past 10 minutes, I'm really sorry, but I think that now for sure you're seeing the screen. So if you haven't seen the screen, I'm really sorry. I'm gonna provide the slides afterwards. But now I'm quite confident that you are seeing the screen. Yeah, sorry. I just need to take a look and reassure myself that everything's going fine. Yes, so getting back, if you already get familiar with the content of this program, and specifically for the day number 3, all the lecturers are telling you what kind of tools to use. So either if you're building a desktop or mobile application or mobile prototype, those are the tools that you can and are required, or not required but suggested to use. So if you want to design with, and if you're a designer, really inverted commas designer, and without really deep skills, just use those prototyping tools such as Figma, Marvel, Flinto. And I particularly really like Wix. So for example, I was using Wix for my project and for my prototype, and I was quite happy and quite, what's the word, quite satisfied. Sorry, I was quite satisfied with that tool. But if any of those tools is not meeting all your criteria, feel free to Google something more. Also, if you just want to work with, if you're not feeling like a really design like a person, you can still use the templates from either the Keynote or the PowerPoint. Jake Knapp, I'm gonna make a reference again. So Jake Knapp, in his book, he says that for 90% of all the projects, Keynote was sufficient. So if you download the Keynote template, and there are a number of templates, you're gonna be fine. But remember that the fidelity of the product should be in this way. The user should understand. This is quite tricky. The project should be really good that the user cannot say if it's fake or not, but don't spend so much time on it. So that's why we have only one day with regards to design sprint process, but you have the whole week. But when talk about design sprint, you have 1 day to come up with to create a prototype, so the user understands, the user feel like this is not something cheap, something cheesy, but I'm feel like I'm losing the real product. So keep that in mind. 1 day, and user thinks like he or she is using the real product. Also remember, it's not about being designer, but rather using tools to express your ideas and thinking flow. So every time you come up with a functional prototype, think about the user, think about the usability, and try to express your ideas. What do you want those users, those customers to feel? What do you want them to do? So please keep that in mind and reference it back to the storyboard. Yeah, so when you were going through the Udacity and Engine Smart content for this program, you could have seen this example of the prototype. So they were using the mobile app prototyping website, and this is how they come up with this prototype. So I just made a print screen, and everything that I'm sharing right now is accessible using the hyperlinks in Design Sprint Foundation Integrated Program for the day number 3. This is just a real quick example for the laundry locker. Laundry OE made a project, but in your case is Furusato. If I'm not mistaken, let me just double check real quick. Yeah, Furusato. Yeah, good. So that was it, but I will just get back here, and we can just briefly have a look. So this is the dashboard, and this is the place who are all of you familiar with? Good. Yeah. So all those days for the project, so you can just go through it, everything, all these hyperlinks for the tools like Marvel, Flinto, Figma, and then downloading. So you need to use those tools, or either the tools that you either Google, or you can use some templates for the Keynote or PowerPoint. And then it's at least 8 slides. Yeah, it is nicely explained here. Use those templates and submit it as they say. Use Slack community, so you can text either me or you can cooperate with your peers, but it is preferable that you're using myself as the first point of contact. Fuck. Yeah. So everything is here, and this is the place where you submit the project. Good. And now we can have a look on a project template for day number 3. So everything is clear. I think, yeah, this is really tricky. We might think that everything is clear, but if you feel like this is not clear for you, or you think that something is ambiguous, feel free to write me on Slack, and we're gonna go through it. If you are having some issues, if you're having any kind of questions, feel free to reach out to me using the Slack. Storyboard reference, as I mentioned, always reference back to the storyboard, so you're not creating a prototype not based on the storyline. Sorry, not based on the storyboard. And yeah, you either choose the template for desktop experience or user experience using the mobile phone, or you can use actually both. But it's rather good to use the niche strategy to focus on either one of those. But reference it back to the storyboard. That was the project number 2 for day 2. So reference it back to your previous project. So now when you're getting the logic behind all those projects, every project is building on the previous one. So project number 1, then project number 2 is building on project number 2, and building on that, we're using the project number 3, and then number 4, and number 4 is the final project. But this is the end of the real work for day number 3. We're gonna continue in the day number 4. using or having interviews, interacting with the users, and that's what day number 4 is all about. Get the final check here, where I really kindly and nicely ask you, did you remember everything? And here's a really nice checklist. Yeah, good. Reminders, you leave this slide before submitting. So don't rush. Go through everything, read everything. And if you're not understanding, use Slack and ask me. That's it. So if you have any kind of questions, go on Slack. So Slack is really preferred. Or if you have particular questions for this webinar, you can alternatively use the YouTube, and you can use the YouTube comment section. So write in the comment, ask me, but preferably please do use Slack. Alrighty then. So fingers crossed, you've been doing magnificently for the past 2.5 weeks. Fingers crossed for you. I'm cheering for you. I'm trying to encourage you. And just let's do it. Let's do it. I'm gonna prepare then the AMA session. I'm gonna interact with you. I'm gonna provide you with some more content. But for the purposes of this webinar, let me just check if we have some questions now. So if any one of you have questions, feel free to ask them now. If you come up with some questions during rewatching this webinar, feel free to use Slack, to write me down on Slack, to ask me questions. And yeah, thank you very much for this week. Thank you very much for all the hard work that you've been putting into this program. And till the next week, fingers crossed, and enjoy this week and enjoy Easter. Bye-bye. It's David.